Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Robin, and in this video I'll give you a HubSpot tutorial for beginners. So one of the first pieces of this video, I will cover how to sign up for HubSpot. So if you already have an account, if you already set up with HubSpot and just want to figure out how to use it, then please skip that part. I'll leave timestamps down below in the description so you can skip to the more interesting parts, at least that you find interesting for the knowledge you're looking for. So as you probably already know, HubSpot has many different features. So they have many different plans. So they have a free plan, they have a marketing plan, a sales plan, a customer service plan, and so forth. So there are many different features inside HubSpot. So in this tutorial, I will cover some of the basic features of HubSpot, so some of the free tools, but I will also cover some paid tools as well that are inside the professional plan of HubSpot. So before we go into all the how-to steps and how to do everything, let me first show you the dashboard of HubSpot and where everything is, and also what we will cover in this video. So one of the first things I'll cover in this video is how to create a newsletter. So if you are logged in the dashboard of HubSpot, if you go to marketing and email, there we can send newsletters. So here we can create a new email. Here you can see all the past emails you created or sent. So this is one of the first things we'll cover in this tutorial. So how to send and create a newsletter with HubSpot. Then if we hover over to contacts over here and then a list, so that is also one of the things we'll cover in this video, is how to create a list and what are lists exactly. So you have two different lists. So you have the active list and the static lists. So what's the difference between the two and how should you use those lists inside your HubSpot account? We will discuss this in more depth later on in this tutorial as well, because you can use active lists to segment your audience. So that's a pretty handy way to use active lists. I'll give you some examples as well. Then another important thing obviously is how to import new contacts. So if you go over to contacts over here and then list, so here we can import new contacts, and that is what we will cover as well in this tutorial. So how do you do that? And how do you import new contacts through a spreadsheet, for example? But you can also add new contacts to your HubSpot account to sync the data between a third-party platform. So I'll show you like how I imported data from Shopify. So I have a Shopify store. So this is my Shopify store for my self-published books. If you don't know this already, I self-published these 4 puppy training books. So I created an integration between this Shopify store and my HubSpot account, so I can sync the data. So all the orders that are inside my Shopify store, those are now imported into HubSpot with all the email addresses, all the data, and all that great stuff. So I'll show you how that works with the import and how you can use that data for segmentation purposes as well inside HubSpot. So for example, you can create a list. So if we go to list, for example, I created this high revenue list. So you can segment based upon the data you added through Shopify. So you can create a list of the people that spent an X amount of dollars inside your store, for example. And then lastly, we obviously have the landing pages. So if we go to marketing, we have the landing pages over here, and we have the opt-in forms here as well. So if we go to marketing, lead capture, we have the forms here. So we'll cover in depth how to create a landing page. So I'll show you, for example, how I created this landing page. So we will create this landing page together inside this tutorial, and I'll show you, this is an opt-in form that you can create inside HubSpot. I'll show you how to do that, and we'll give away this free ebook for this specific landing page. So I created an automation. So if we go over to automation and then workflows, I created a workflow to give away that specific ebook when someone signs up through this specific sign-up form. Also, this is a pretty fun thing. So this weekly or monthly option. So would you like to receive puppy training tips by email on a weekly or monthly basis? So you can add such a segmentation option inside your opt-in form. So you can segment your audience based upon their preference on how often they want to hear from you, on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. So we'll cover all that great stuff in this HubSpot tutorial for beginners. If you have any questions for me, please comment down below. Also, if you want to see another HubSpot video or another tutorial related to email marketing or marketing in general, please let me know down below in the comments. I'm happy to create more videos about HubSpot or email marketing in general. But know that I'm creating weekly email marketing videos on this channel. So if you want to know more about email marketing, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't subscribed already. So without further ado, let's start with the first step, and that is how to sign up for a free account on HubSpot.com. When you don't have a HubSpot account yet, please use my link in the YouTube description below. If you use that link, you'll see this page of the HubSpot website, and there we're going to click on Start Free or Get a Demo to create a free account. So I'm going to click on Get Started for free. I'm going to fill in my name, last name, and the email address I'm going to use for this account. And I'm going to click on Next. So here we need to fill in some details. What is your job role, company name, how many employees are working at your company, what's your company's website. So we should now have received an email from HubSpot, and we need to confirm our email address to confirm our account and activate our account. So I just received this email address. I'm going to click on confirm email address, and now I can create a password for my account. I'm going to click on next. So I'm based in the EU, so I'm going to click the EU. I'm going to click create account. So here we can select one of these three options. I'm going to select I know my way around HubSpot pretty well. Which part of the CRM platform do you want to explore first? I want a general overview. That's what I'm going to select. So now they give us some recommendations how to start. I'm going to click on I'll do this later, explore HubSpot without data. So as you can see, we have now access to the free HubSpot accounts. So I'm just going to walk you through the basics of HubSpot over here. So I'm going to give you a dashboard overview real quick so you know a little bit more how HubSpot works. So here we have this top menu bar, and here we have contacts, conversations, marketing, and we're gonna first have a look at marketing over here. So if you want to send a newsletter, so a broadcast newsletter, you're gonna open the email tab over here. So I'm gonna right mouse click, open link, a new tab. So I still have this dashboard open over here. So over here you can see with a free account you can send 2,000 emails per month. You can create 25 static and 5 smart lists, and the lists is if we go back to the earlier tab over here, if we go to contacts and lists, I'm going to open that one in a new tab as well. So right mouse click, new tab. So here you can see the list. So if we create a new list over here you can see we have a static list and an active list. And the difference between an active list and a static list is that a static list will not automatically update if something changed inside your list settings. So for example, in an active list, you can create some filters. So for example, with an active list, I'm gonna, if I create a test active list over here, I'm gonna click on next. And here you can see you can apply some filters over here. So I just click the filters tab over here. And if you click on contact properties, here you can see, for example, if I click on revenue, total revenue, for example. So for example, you can say the total revenue is greater than, for example, $100. So this list will continually update when a new contact has spent more than $100 inside your business, right? So this is an active list, so that means that list will continually update when a new contact has spent more than $100 inside your company. So one more contact will be added to this list. So that's the difference between an active list and a static list, that a static list will not change. You will, so for example, if you import 1,000 contacts into a static list, that static list will stay at 1,000 contacts. You cannot create filters or something in a static list. So if we go back to the marketing email tab over here, so you can create 25 static lists and 5 smart lists. And I think what they mean by smart lists, I think that they mean the active lists. So I'm going to click on Get Started over here. If you're familiar with another email marketing tool, this will look familiar to you because this is pretty similar to other email marketing tools. You can just click on create an email, and here you can click a regular email. So that's just a regular newsletter. I'm going to click on regular newsletter. So here you can select the templates. So that's pretty similar to other email marketing tools that you can create a template, but you can also just create a simple email, just a text only email. So for example, if I click on text only email, and here again, this also looks pretty similar to other email marketing tools. So most email marketing tools have a drag and drop system, just like this. So if you want to add an image, for example, you can add an image like this. So this is pretty similar to other email marketing tools. So I will not go into too much detail like how the editor works. One thing I will show you is the settings tab over here. So if you go to the settings tab, here you can see the from email address. So this is the email address I signed up with for this specific account. And as you can see, this is the Gmail email address. So if you want to send out newsletters from a free email account like Gmail, HubSpot has this great feature where they change your from email address from, for example, iamrobin.business@gmail.com. They will change it to @hubspotfree.net. So it's still not a great looking, professional looking email address, obviously, but your deliverability rate will be better because sending newsletters from a free email domain like a Gmail or an Outlook or an Hotmail or what have you is the deliverability rate is worse than sending from a professional looking email address like an info@domain.com. So you can use this free email address over here, but that's obviously not the best way. But if you don't have another email address, you can use that. But if you do have a business email address like an info@domain.com email address, you can click over here and you can add an email address over here. So I'm going to click on add email address. And let's say, for example, I want to add this email address. So this is my domain name. So this is a domain I own. So if I click on add email address, now I need to verify this email address. So I'm going to click on verify email address and I need to send a verification email. So this is the verification email and I need to click on approve to verify my email address, approve this request. Your email address has been confirmed. So now I can send emails from this email address as well. So this is one way to add a custom from email address when sending newsletters. But do note that if you send a new newsletter, so for example, if I click on exit over here, and if I click on create new email, and if I go through the first steps real quick, so I click this plain text email and I click on settings, now you see the from email address is again the Gmail email address. So I can select the custom email address I previously added like this, but it is a little bit annoying and there is a risk obviously that you forget to change that email address to your custom email address. So another way, maybe a better way to do this, so if we close this tab over here and we go to the dashboard over here, you can click on the gear icon and here we can select a new user. So here we see users and teams, and here we can create a new user to our account. So for example, we have this super admin user, so that's the email address where I signed up with for HubSpot. But if I click and create a new user, and if I use my custom domain name over here for that specific new user, and if I sign in with that user, then the default email address when sending marketing newsletters will be this email address instead of that Gmail email address. So I suggest you do this if you signed up with a free email account like a Gmail and do want to use your custom email address when sending marketing newsletters. So then the next thing I'll show you is how to import new contacts. So if we go to contacts and the contacts tab over here, we'll get to this page and here you see the sample contacts HubSpot imported into your account already. So if you want to import new contacts into your HubSpot account, there are multiple ways to do this. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do this, to import new contacts into your account. So one way is to select the import option over here, so the import button. And before I show you this way, so the import, so the most basic option to import contacts into HubSpot, the other way, which can be more easier if you want to connect, for example, your Shopify account or your WordPress account or some other third-party account to HubSpot, so you want to import those contacts into HubSpot, is to click the gear icon over here. So I'm going to click a right mouse button, click open a new tab. If I open this new tab over here and if I scroll down here, you will see integrations. So if you click on connected apps, you can see the apps you have connected already. So if you're on a new account like this account, you'll see that there are none apps connected to your HubSpot account. I'm going to click on Visit App Marketplace. And there are lots of different apps, lots of different third-party apps that you can connect with HubSpot. So for example, I tested the connection with Shopify, for example. So I have a Shopify store for my e-commerce business and I connected the integration between HubSpot and Shopify and it works like a charm. So you can basically just import all your orders of Shopify into HubSpot. So all the contacts, all the email addresses that are connected to the orders inside your Shopify store are just imported into HubSpot. That includes all the data as well. So the revenue, what products they bought, and so forth. And I can show you how this looks in my other account, on my other HubSpot account, where I integrated the two accounts. So let me switch to that other account real quick. So this is my other HubSpot account. And as you can see, there are numerous contacts in this account. So 322 records. And as you can see, because of that integration between HubSpot and Shopify I created, there is an automatic sync between the two. So when a new contact is added inside my Shopify store, they will be automatically added to Shopify as well. So as you can see, today there were 2 contacts added to HubSpot, and yesterday there were 3 contacts added to HubSpot. So just as an example, this is an easy sync, and you can do that with all kinds of different third-party apps. So in this example, this is Shopify, but if you have a different e-commerce store or if you have a different app in mind where you want to sync the contacts between the two, you can do that easily by just creating that integration. Just to show you another example of how you can segment your context based upon revenue made, for example, between that Shopify integration. So if I go to contacts and then I click on list, and here you can see I created, for example, this high revenue list. So I just call it high revenue list. And if I click on this list, so as you can see, this is an active list, and as shown before, so we have a static list inside HubSpot and an active list, and the active list will be updated continuously. So once someone, so if one of my contacts has made a purchase of more than $100 inside my store, or has made multiple purchases and the total amount is greater than $100, they will be added to this specific list. And if we click on one of the contacts over here, you can see what kind of data is also imported inside the HubSpot account because of that Shopify integration. So we are now inside the tab of one particular contact inside my HubSpot account, and as you can see, what kind of data is imported because of the Shopify integration. So we can see the order number, so we can see the revenue number, the revenue has been made, so the close date, they call it the close date. So this is when the order is placed. So here we can see the stage as well. So this is the shipped stage inside HubSpot. So we have, for example, the checkout abandonment, the checkout pending, completed, processed, shipping, and canceled. So this one is shipped, for example. And the cool thing about this is that if you have sent this person specific emails, that will be all listed inside this tab over here. Same as calls or tasks. So in this specific case, this is a Shopify store where I sell my 4 books. So these are my 4 self-published books. I wrote them myself, and I sell them online on my Shopify store. But as you can imagine, there is no one-on-one sales calls for these specific product. But if you do have a higher price product or a higher price software product, for example, then you probably will use these tabs. So you will send one-on-one emails to try to convince someone to make the sale, right? But like the sales that are made through my Shopify store are pretty much all automated, and there's barely any one-on-one sales conversations going on inside just this e-commerce store. But that will be different, obviously, if you have a higher priced product. But sorry for all that rambling. That was just me showing you like that there are numerous ways to import new contacts into your HubSpot account. So you can use the integrations tab for integrating that with a third-party tool. So you can easily import those contacts into HubSpot. But another way to import new contacts into HubSpot is just to use this import button over here. So you're going to click on contacts, lists, and then over here we have this import option. So let's say, for example, I have this spreadsheet and I want to import this data inside HubSpot. So in this column, I have the name column. So as you can see in cell A1, there's the name. So the name of the person, the first name. So in column B, we have the email address. And then in column C, for example, we have the state. So let's say, for example, you want to segment your audience based upon in which state they are in. You can use that data as well inside HubSpot to create emails based upon in what state people are in. So I created column C, state 1, and state 2, and state 3. So I'm going to import this spreadsheet into HubSpot. So I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to click on Download, and then we're going to download it as a CSV file. As you can see, the download is ready. I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to go back to HubSpot, and I'm going to click on this import button over here. So start and import. And as I said before, you can use this field over here to connect with an app if you want to import from a third-party app. So in this case, I'm going to select start and import. So I'm going to say this one, file from computer. I'm going to click on next. So this is just one file. So I'm going to click one file, click on next again. So how many objects are you importing? So in this case, it is just one object because it is only data of that specific contact. So I'm going to click on next again. And over here, you can see what kind of object you can import into HubSpot. So you can select companies, contacts, deals, or tickets. So as you can see, you can also import tickets. So if you have a customer service CSV file, so if you have a spreadsheet of all the customer service tickets, you can import that as well. But in this case, these are contacts. So we're going to click on the contact button. And over here, we need to upload our CSV file, or you can drag and drop. As it says here, you can drag and drop that file over here. So I'm going to choose a file and upload it over here. I just selected the spreadsheet. I just downloaded it. So that CSV file, I downloaded, and I'm going to click on next. Then now the next step is to properly connect the fields. So as you can see over here, we have the first name, the email address, and the state. And we need to connect those properties with the proper properties inside HubSpot. So import as. So here you can see the HubSpot property. So here we have the name field. So this is the first name in this case. So here we need to choose or create a new property. So we're gonna search for first name. As you can see, the first name is already available in the HubSpot property fields. So if you Google HubSpot properties list, first result that pops up in my case is this one. So HubSpot's default contact properties. And if you select that one, you'll see here a pretty big list of all the different properties HubSpot has in default. You can also create new properties, by the way. So if you don't see the property you want to connect your data points to, you can create a new property. But as you can see, HubSpot has a pretty big list of properties already. So again, if you have a big list of data points, so in this case, we only have 3 data points, right? We have the first name, so that's pretty obvious. We have the email address and we have the state. So if we go back to the import, you can see the first name. I'm just gonna go for the first name. And if we go into this default list, if we here look for the first name, you can see this one is in the list here as well. So if you go through this list, you definitely find a property that is that you can connect to one of your data points over here. And if not, you can create a new one by just create a new property here. So in this case, this is already connected. So the email, and here we have the state, it is already connected as well. So I'm gonna click on next. And now here you can choose to create a new static list from your import. So if you recall that, like in the beginning, I showed you that you can create 25 static lists inside your free HubSpot accounts and 5 smart lists. So 5 active lists basically. So I'm gonna say create a list from this import, and you can change this name if you want. So the import name, I'm just gonna call this import HubSpot tutorial, and we need to agree to this one as well. Finish import. So if you have a pretty big list, then it will probably take a little bit longer. So this one was pretty quick. I'm gonna click here for an overview of the list, and as you can see here we have the HubSpot tutorial list that we just imported. I'm gonna click on a few contacts, and here you can see the contacts I imported into my HubSpot account. So let's say now you want to segment your audience and you want to send a specific email to only to the contacts that are in state 1. So there are numerous ways to do this, but one way is to create an active list of all the people that are in state 1. So I'm gonna go to contacts, I'm gonna go to list, and I'm going to create a list, and I'm going to create an active list. So we want to create a list that is continuously updated if a new contact is added to state 1. So I'm going to call this list state 1. I'm going to click on next, and here we're going to add a filter. So, and here we're going to go to contact properties, and we're going to search for state region. So, and here we need to add a value to this filter, because else there will be no filter, obviously. So I'm going to click this one. So the default one is equal to any of, and here I'm going to type in state 1. I'm going to add that one, and now the list is updating. And as you can see, now these 2 contacts are added to this active list. And if we go back to the spreadsheet, you can see that these contacts are in state 1. So that is correct. So I'm going to click on save list. So we're just going to try to send a newsletter right now and use this active list as a segment. So we're going to go to marketing, and then we're going to click on email, and here we have this draft new email already, so I'm just going to select that one, and here I'm going to click on send or schedule, and there we can select the segment of the audience we want to send this specific newsletter to. So over here we have send to, and here you can see the different contact lists we have. So we have the state 1, so that is the active list we just created, and we also have this static list of the import, right? So I'm going to click on state 1 over here, and as you can see, there are 2 contacts. So this is one way of segmenting your emails. So another way is to use smart content rules, but do note this only applies if you have the Marketing Hub Professional or the CMS Hub Professional or the Enterprise, obviously. So, and I'll show you how this works. So this is my other HubSpot account, and in this account, I do have the professional plan. I'm on a trial account over here. And as you can see over here, if we go in this newsletter editor, here we have the More tab that you don't have in the free account. So if we click the More tab over here, we can add a smart rule. And if we click the Add Smart Rule over here, we can select a category, and I'm going to select content list membership. And here you can basically select the different lists you have in your account. So I'm going to select the 2 different lists I have in this account. I'm going to click on create. And what we can do right now is that we can change the content of this email for those specific lists. And over here you can see it says editing for default or high revenue list or main list. So if we select main list, for example, you can edit the content the way you want. So here it says main list. And if we now go to the high revenue list, you can see that this line will be gone. And here we can just add high revenue list. And if we go into main list, you see the content changes. So you can send the same email with just a tweak inside the content. So you can create a different button, you can create a different image, a different, for example, a different offer, a different discount, whatever you want. You can segment your audience inside the email as well. So this is pretty cool. But again, this is in the professional plan of HubSpot. I'm now going to show you how to create a landing page and how to create an opt-in form and how to create an automated workflow. So an automation, a marketing automation. So the thing is with landing pages and opt-in forms and automations, they're pretty much integrated. So I'm going to show you all these things at once. So I'm going to first create a landing page, but in order to collect email addresses, we need to create an opt-in form to integrate that with the landing page. So that's why I'm going to show you that all at once over here. And note, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'll try to go through all these steps pretty quick, but I'll still try to give you as much information as I can in the time I have, because again, I don't want this video to be too long. So to create a landing page, that's what we're gonna do first. We're gonna go to marketing over here, and then we're gonna click on landing pages. So over here you can see all the landing pages you have published already. And if you wanna create a new landing page, which is what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna click on this button over here, create, and we're gonna create a landing page. Inside HubSpot, you have the option to add your own custom domain. So this is my domain name over here, poppyb.com. So this is the domain, and I use this website to promote my English self-published books. So if you don't know so already, I self-publish these 4 books. So I do most of the sales in the Netherlands, so the Dutch variant of these books, but I also translated them to English. So therefore I have this website, and I added this subdomain inside HubSpot for test purposes. So this is obviously far more professional than using one of these random domain names HubSpot gives you for free. So you can give it a page name. So I'm just gonna call it landing page 4, because I already created a couple of other landing pages for test purposes. We're gonna click on create page, and here we can select a theme, so a theme template. So if you also created a website, then HubSpot suggests you use that theme. So I created a website inside HubSpot, and I use this theme, so the growth theme. So that's how that theme is called. But you can also use other templates. So there are other templates like here. So download your free ebook, just a really basic template, as you can see. But if you're planning to create multiple landing pages, so multiple pages basically, then I suggest you stick with one theme so everything looks the same, right? So in this case, I'm gonna stick with the growth theme, and I'm just gonna use the blank template over here. I'm gonna select this template. So now we have the standard header over here that will be on every landing page we publish. We also have the standard footer over here, and obviously we can adjust everything how we want it to look. The first things first, I'm gonna give this landing page a name. So I'm gonna go to settings over here, and here we need to give this one a page title. So I'm gonna create a landing page to give away a free ebook, and I'm gonna give away a free puppy house training ebook. So that is this book over here, How to House Train a Puppy, the Ultimate Guide. So if we check the Amazon page over here, so we have 4 books, and the idea is if you give away one book for free, for example, I did it on Amazon a couple of times, then you can promote the other 3 books inside your first book, right? So that is one way of selling your other books if you have multiple books. But anyhow, let's go back to the landing page. So we have the page title, that will be the title that you'll see over here, and inside Google, so free puppy house training ebook. Here the page language, I'm gonna set it on English, the domain, and then the content slug. So what kind of URL do we want to use? If you delete this slug, you will just use this domain over here for this landing page. But as you can see, there's already a landing page that is connected to this specific URL. So we need to add a slug to it. I'm just gonna call it free ebook. So we're gonna go back to the contents, and now we're gonna add an image. So this is a pretty standard drag and drop landing page builder. So here we have the different elements we can add to the landing page content. So if we scroll down a little bit, here we see image, and if we click on that, you can just drag it onto the page over here, and here you can see you can upload an image. So if we click here on replace, I can add that image. You can add an image over here from your computer. You can upload a new file. I already uploaded the image, so I'm gonna select that one. Now I'm gonna go back, so I'm gonna click on home over here, and I'm gonna add a sign-up form. So we need to create a sign-up form so people can leave their name and email address to download the ebook. So here we have the form. So I'm gonna click on the form. I'm gonna drag it onto the template over here on the content, and I'm gonna drop it at the left side of the image, and now you can see the image will be smaller, and now we have this form over here. So no form selected, so we need to create a new form. I'm going to click on create new form, and we're going to give this form a name. I'm just going to leave it as this landing page form 4 create, and now we have the form over here. Now if we click on actions over here, we can go to the full form editor. So we are going to do that. So we're going to click on go to full form editor. And now we are in the form editor. I'm going to change the content of this button over here to download. If you want, you can add a first name. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to ask for the email alone. And one other thing that is pretty cool to add to your form is a segmentation option. So for example, I created a custom property over here, so a contact property, and I called it the newsletter, and I'm going to drag it onto the form over here, and now you can see what it does. So it basically says weekly or monthly. So what this basically is, I'm going to offer my new subscriber the option to subscribe to a weekly or a monthly newsletter. So let's say if you have a weekly or monthly newsletter, people can now choose what they prefer, if they want to hear from you on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. And obviously you can do that with anything, right? So let's say you want to segment on in what state people are in the US, for example. You can say, okay, what state are you in? Please select the option. Or maybe you have all kinds of different content ideas, you know, like you have a YouTube channel, maybe you have a blog, maybe you have all kinds of different products. Maybe you have products for women, for children, for men. Like you can add multiple properties over here and ask your audience what kind of updates they would like to receive from you. And I can show you real quick how I added that property. So I just opened a new tab over here. If you click on this gear icon, here you can scroll down to data management and then properties. We're going to click on properties, and here if we search for the property, if I search for newsletter, here we see the newsletter property that I created. So if I open that one, here you can see it is a radio field type, and then I have the option for the weekly and the monthly. So if you want to use such a property, you're going to click on create a property, and here you're going to say the object type is contact in this instance for creating the option for a weekly and monthly newsletter. So I'm going to add it to the group contact information, and then I'm going to call it newsletter 1, for example, because I already have the newsletter option. Then I'm going to click on the next, and here we need to select a field type. So we have many different field types. In this case, I have a radio select, so you can only choose one or the other. So radio select, and then you can just enter weekly, add an option monthly, and then that's it. You can click on create. And now if we go back to the form editor over here, so if we click on update form, because we want to refresh the page real quick, if we refresh the page, so now if we click on the form again, and we're gonna scroll down a little bit, and here we see actions. So here we're gonna click on actions and then go to full forms editor. So I'm gonna click on it, and now if I search for properties, and if I search for newsletter, here we see the other newsletter property we just created, and then we can just drag and drop it onto the form template. So I'm not going to do that because I already have this one. So obviously this is not required to do. You don't have to add such a property. You can just ask for an email and that's it. But this is just me showing you one way to segment your audience based upon such a property where they need to select whether they want to hear from you on a weekly or a monthly basis. Then I'm gonna select this property over here, and I'm gonna change the label over here, and then I'm gonna add this text: would you like to receive Poppy training tips by email on a weekly or a monthly basis? So this field is not required. So that means if people do not fill in an option for either a weekly or monthly emails, I shouldn't email them. right? Because they didn't give me permission to email them. I'm gonna close this property settings window over here. I'm gonna update the form. I'm gonna go back to the landing page. So we're already back in the landing page. It does it automatically. So now we have the email field that is required. Would you like to receive puppy training tips by email on a weekly or monthly basis? So this is not required. So people do not have to fill in, do not have to enter an option here. So this is optional. So they can download the free ebook without me sending them more emails later on. I do notice that I forgot to add a title over here because now people do not really know what this landing page is, right? So I'm going to add a title real quick. So I'm going to click on edit the landing page, and I'm going to search for header. So I'm going to use this module and I'm going to add it onto the template over here. I'm going to add it like over here, and I'm going to add this text: free puppy house training ebook. I'm going to use the H1 level over here. So if you click over here, then you can add the alignment and spacing over here. So let's say I do not want any padding or margin at the top over here, and also none at the bottom. I can just change it over here like this. And let's say I want to add a subtitle as well. So I'm going to use the text module. I'm going to drag it onto the template and below the title over here. And I'm going to add this text over here: hand-on tips and advice from 24 dog trainers. I'm going to make it a little bit more bigger. So you can do that by just using these things over here, something like this. You can change the padding here as well. So I'm going to click here, alignment and spacing. And here you can see 60 pixels. I'm going to remove that and I'm going to add 0. Or maybe at the bottom, I can use 60 pixels. But I like it way better like this. I'm going to click on update page now. We check it again. And as you can see, now we have the page title, a subtitle, and the opt-in form. So now there's one more thing we need to do. We need to add an automation to this opt-in form, because if people enter their name and email address, we obviously want to send them that free ebook once they subscribe to our newsletter, right? So we're going to click on marketing, lead capture forms. So this is another way to access your forms. So lead capture forms. So landing page 4, that is the form that we just created. I'm going to click on edit. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on options over here. And here you can select what thank you message or page you want to show your new subscriber when they enter their email address and click on the button to subscribe or download the free ebook in this case. So what should happen? Display a thank you message or redirect to another page. So you can choose whatever. In this case, I'm going to display a thank you message, and this is the thank you message that I want to display. So please check your email and confirm your email address. After confirming your email address, you'll receive the free puppy house training ebook. We're going to click on update. We're going to click on publish. We're going to close that one. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to automation to send that free ebook once they confirm their email address. And this is the automation part of HubSpot. So this is the part where you create a workflow or an automation to send that free ebook. I'm going to click on create new workflow, and I'm going to trigger this workflow when a contact submitted a form. So this specific form. So this is the trigger: a contact submits form landing page 4. So over here we can add an action which is the next step in this workflow. So this workflow works like this. So this is the first step. Then you can add a next step to this workflow, which can be an email or whatever. I'm going to click on this plus icon over here, and here you can see we have some options to choose from. So we can either use a delay, we can send an email, and that is what we're going to do in this case. So I'm going to click on this email button over here. So here we can either choose an email that we created in the past, or we can create a new email. So I'm going to click on create a new email, and here I'm going to use this email tool for more customization options. I'm going to use the simple one over here. So I'm going to remove everything over here. I'm going to say hello. As promised, click here to download the free ebook. So I'm going to select this text, and that's the cool thing about HubSpot. You can upload the PDFs inside this at this link. So you can say file, and here we can upload that PDF. So I already uploaded my PDF. If you didn't upload it yet, you can just add file, upload files, and upload your PDF. In this case, I'm going to select the house training PDF ebook, and as you can see, we now have that link attached to that text. I'm going to go to settings over here, and here we need to add a subject line again: download your free ebook here, and I'm going to review and publish. I'm going to click on publish. So now over here we can select the form or the workflow we want to connect this email to. So choose the location of the workflow. So we're going to choose forms, and then we have this landing page 4 form, and that is the form we want to add this automation to. So we selected the form, and we're going to click on go to form. Now we're going to click the plus icon again. We're going to click on send email, and I think this is the email download. We can check it here. If we click this icon over here, You can check if it's the correct email. I'm going to open it real quick. And as you can see, this is the email that we want to send it out. So this is the free ebook we want to send out. So we're going to select that email and we're going to click on save. And as you can see, we now added that email into this automation over here. The next thing we're going to click on. So this automation is working. We're going to click on got it. And that's it. I'm going to click on updates. I'm going to click on publish. I'm going to close this one. I'm going to go back to all forms, click on marketing, landing pages, and we're going to go to that landing page. We're going to click on more and we're going to click on view. So now this is the landing page we created, and we created that automation for that free ebook as well. And that's it. And before you publish your opt-in form, you obviously want to test it. So use your own email address and go through the process of receiving that free ebook to make sure everything works like it should. I already tested it, so it does work how I set it up like this. And just to quickly show you what you can do if someone selects one of these options when you send a newsletter. So if you're going to go to marketing and you select email, if you want to send a newsletter, and you're going to click on create an email. I'm just going to click a regular email real quick. I'm going to click on simple. And if we go to send or schedule, so here we need to select the recipients we want to send this email to. So here we can create a new list. And if we create an active list over here, so let's say the monthly subscribers, and we're going to click on next. And here you can add a filter. So here you need to select the proper group you added the property to. So if I remember that correctly, it was the context property. And over here, if we search for newsletter, so here you can see the custom property we added. So if we click that one, so here you can select weekly or monthly. So this was the monthly subscribers. So we're going to select monthly. And now everyone that has that element to their contact information monthly, so anyone that selected monthly will be added to this list, and you can send newsletters to this specific list, and it will automatically update because it is an active list instead of a static list. But again, obviously you don't have to add this. This will make things maybe a little bit more complex than needed, but I just wanted to show you a small thing how you can segment your audience based upon custom properties you create inside HubSpot. Thank you very much for watching this video all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like the video and also comment down below if you learned anything from me. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm uploading weekly videos to this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.